Good afternoon, friends. So I bring to you another technical analysis by XAUKING. So today I'm looking towards a buy all the way to 4,385. This is the beginning of the video, but watch how I get to this conclusion until the end. So let's start. Right, so to begin, we need to go on a clean chart, and let me see if I have anything on Rwanda. Let me clear everything that we have here and let's start. So there's nothing here. Let's start. Okay. So the first thing and the most important thing whenever you're conducting a technical analysis is to know what is happening in the market. Okay, so let's go on the daily time frame. And here we are on the daily time frame. So according to the daily time frame, if we look at this scenario, we will realize that price has been bearish. All right, why do we state that price has been bearish? Because we can clearly see that multiple times price has failed to break the highs above here. All right, we can clearly see this. All right, this is perfectly clear, and thus we will consider that we are still extremely bearish. All right, the only time where price has tried to continue moving upwards is right now here. And if we zoom in a little bit, you will realize that we have a small area of interest around here that price has actually broken. So this is on the daily time frame. All right, and all the rejections that price has ever managed on the bullish side of things are here. Okay, and this was also a major turning point. So what we are saying right now is that price has actually reacted around this level here. All right, so price has respected this order block on the daily time frame, and thus we expect bullish continuation moves all the way to the all-time high in a few months. But because we are actually looking at the break of this trend line, so we have two trend lines. This is currently the secondary trend line, and this is the primary trend line. So what we expect right now is initially to see price break successfully to liquidate all the above levels in the incline or the diagonal trend line in order for us to consider being successfully above a bullish move. Now, if we look carefully at this level here, we will agree that this is a very important level. It's a very good, strong resistance. Okay, so basically what we expect is that price goes all the way out till here and then drops a little bit to buy and then break above this level in continuation. So if I have to explain how that will look like, we will have price moving to the upside, a retest of the structure, and then a continuation all the way to the upside. Now remember that this is not going to take a short time. This will take very long in order for it to happen. Now this analysis that I've just conducted is a simple view of what gold will do in the future, but now we have to refine this to lower time frame to see what we can expect in the upcoming days. Remember that the week starts today, basically at midnight, and we will then look for bullish moves for the rest of the week in my perspective. So let us clear everything that we've just drawn. Okay, let us clear everything that we've just drawn, and now let's try and do the best analysis that we can have. So if on the daily time frame I can mark this as my current sell side liquidity, okay, I can just say that this is SSL. Okay, and I can also mark this as my all-time high. Okay, so this is going to be my all-time high. We can mark it as ATH. All right, with that said and done, we now have everything highlighted for us. Okay, if I mark this level here, this is going to be our level or our turning point. So this will become it's a resistance. So I'll just put an R there. to bear in mind that whenever price gets to this level, I have a very important resistance level to look at. But currently, if we're going to trade, we are going to trade the last 5 candles before the closure of the market. So let's look at this. If we look at the current situation, we have candle number 1, candle number 2, candle number 3, and candle number 4 and number 5. So basically last week, this was our trading zone. Okay, so the whole of last week we saw that price took a turn and bought. Okay, so price bought the whole of last week. So we had a sell candle on Monday, a sell candle on Tuesday, but then from Wednesday to Friday we had bullish moves. All right, this is very important, so we will have to analyze this together. So this is going to be last week's low. Okay, so this will be last week's low, and we'll mark it as previous weekly low, and this will be last week's high. So we will mark this as previous weekly PWH. Okay, previous weekly high. Once we have these levels, we can now start looking for confluences, other factors that may affect our trades. Now remember that when price broke this level here, okay, here, because of this candle, the order block from which price was reacting from is this one. All right, so this was the last order block that price left, and now this order block becomes a valid what? A valid breaker block on the daily time frame. So currently we have price at a BRK or breaker block. I'll just leave it like this. So what we expect is most likely this week we have 2 scenarios. Scenario number 1 is price dropping all the way from there and then liquidating the sell side liquidity. Or scenario number 2 is price opening with a bullish gap and moving all the way up to our resistance. Now what we want to see, in my case, I'm normally a bullish guy. All right, I just look for buys because I believe that in the long term markets go up more than they sell. But let's see. This is the scenario that we are having now. Once I have marked my previous weekly high, normally what you want to see is these highs and lows represent sell side and buy side liquidity on lower time frames. Okay, so the daily high, the weekly high, and the weekly high and the weekly low basically are very strong support and resistance levels. So price currently left a recent high. Now what we want to see is the new weekly candle opening bullish or bearish. If it opens bearish, then we are to expect a bearish move until an order block that would be within this level. Okay, so if it does sell, it will maybe sell until 50% and then find an order block somewhere here to react and then keep going up. This is valid. Worst case scenario, price will go up, come back to test the breaker block, which is also one of the best moves you can get, and then go up. So let me just illustrate to you like this. Breaker blocks for me are perfect combinations because when price breaks them above, it comes to retest them and then goes all the way up to break the next level. And if you look, this is a perfect setup because now we have another bearish order block. So you can see here we have another order block here. Okay, and this is perfect. Why? Because if price actually does break the current resistance level, it does then capture the liquidity that we have underlying here. Okay, so then it does capture these levels and we are clear to react at any given level. So price could react here. In my case, I would then refine this daily order block to the maximum, which is the wick of the daily candle. So then it gives us a weekly target of 4,460 74. This to me is the best move that we can have. So basically, if I also have to refine the breaker block, it would be like this. Okay, so what I want to see after market open is price moving all the way up, breaking the breaker block, most likely reacting on this current order block, and then dropping down to the breaker block, moving all the way past the breaker, the another order block, which will then become a breaker block, and then reacting on a new order block. Okay, so if price does this, then we have a perfect bullish scenario for the week. All right. Okay, so now in continuation of our lesson, we now need to see how price is going to react to this. All right, let's pay close attention to what price would do on the other time frames. So if we go on the 4-hour, we want to carefully see the following happening. All right, so based on the 4-hour, I would most likely refine this to the week as well. But in order for you not to do that or to mess up anything on the 4-hour, what you have to do is wait for price perfect reaction, either above or below. On the 4-hour, things become a bit more clearer, and this is good for us because now we can see things more clearly. So on the 4-hour, we could look for price to react at this level, all right, which is perfect, which is in perfect alignment with the previous candle as well. So we can put it like this. I would place it like this and like that. So what I would expect is if price drops, you can clearly see that we have a fair value gap here. We see price dropping, okay, reacting at the level and going back up. This is also valid. So whatever happens tonight, bear in mind that either way price will find a zone or a level to react from. All right, I'm not gonna leave this here because it won't look professional. I'll remove it and I'll leave this as it is. So if I go to the 1-hour, I want to make sure I refine whatever is here, since this is the last bearish candle before the bullish move that broke the previous structure. Okay, I want to consider this as an important order block. This is on the 4-hour. Let's see what happens on the 1-hour. So here we are on the 1-hour. Now on the 1-hour, if we have to refine this, then our trigger point will be this one. All right, this would be our trigger order, and I would then just make it like this. And I want to see that price can clearly come and mitigate this zone. All right, so you see this, I want price to come here and then take this out, and after price takes that out and reacts here, this is when I would say I'm in for a buy. All right, this is one of the levels that I would consider important. Okay, but then we also have another level here on the lower time frames, maybe 1 minute and so on. We have a level that gave very perfect impulse, broke a structure as well, and we can mark them up. Okay, but normally in all these cases, whenever price is doing this, as you can see, it did the same here. It just went and never came back. What I want to see is a break off the level above. If I see a clear successful break of the level above, then I am sure that price is not coming back to react at these levels anymore. Okay, especially when it's market open. So this would be a level to look at. Okay, so it's buy zone. I can just put a buy zone here, but, and let me add price to it. But the most probable cause will be the buy that we're gonna get above the zone that we have here. So I will just then have to refine this to the 15 minutes. Let's see, 15 minutes. What I want to see on the 15 minutes is the same thing we saw there. What you want to see every time you want to look for sales or buys is a combination of order block, that broke a structure, which is here, okay, and fair value gap. This is the perfect combination. So if you see fair value gap, order block, this is the one. Okay, so I would put it like this. This is another one on the 15 minutes, and I would also add this as another buy zone. Okay, once that is set and done, I will add price to those important levels as well, because I removed the price line from my trading view. And now I want to have the best scenario. So I have buy zone here, buy zone down here, and then I have buy zone above here. So this is also another zone. For those that trade breakout and retests, this would be a buy stop zone. So this will be buy stop zone. Okay, so price would come here. Most likely, yes, it's a supply. Why would you sell on a supply? No, I wouldn't sell immediately. I would wait for a reaction. Normally in these cases, with price trying to create a new trend, I would want to see this and then a test of the structure and then continuation. Normally these moves give me very good results as well. Okay, so I either see that, or I wait for price to come all the way down to react at these levels, and then I take a buy. Okay, so either way, I'm looking for buys at midnight. All right, sorry, let me just remove that and add that. Okay, so either way, I'm looking for buys at midnight. Okay, then if price should sell all the way, maybe break this, then take this. This is also good, because this is the 1 hour order block, which is a very important level. All right, but I don't think price will take this big sell unless it opens with a bearish gap already below the order block that we have here, and then it should react down below. But either way, we have it already drawn and decided. So feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. If you want to trade with me, do not hesitate to click on the link in the description to join my free Telegram channel to start trading with me. I'm not going to charge you anything, and I am soon going to start a 21-day free trading course with everyone who's interested in trading with me. So feel free to like, subscribe to the channel. Okay, all right, so let's talk about risk and reward ratio. So if we have to talk about risk and reward ratio, if we take this trade from here as the buy stop orders, for example, until the last take profit target, which is up there, this would give us a 1 to 35 risk and reward ratio. But if we take it from the bottom order block, this would then give us a 1 to 51 risk and reward ratio. And if we take it from the bottom order block, which is the 1 hour order block, would give us a 1 to 29. So overall, the first order block gives us a better risk and reward ratio. All right, so guys, stay tuned for more. Like and subscribe to my channel. Like I said, I will see you in the next technical analysis.